I'm supposed to be sleeping, but I had a very bad nightmare. That's why I woke up. Natlan Arc and Quest have ended. With that, we have a lot of plot points to talk about. The major ones are Second Harbinger, who's coming to Natlan, Nod-Krai, the Ancient Moon Remnants, aka the Real Sky. Let's start with the elephant in the room. Which Harbinger is coming to Natlan? Because at the end of Arc and Quest, we know that Capitano sent a letter to Snezna saying that he won't be collecting Gnosis. And just like Mavica said, I don't think Sarista gonna give up on the final Gnosis. So Second Harbinger is on the way. Who's coming? We actually know for a fact who's coming. It's Columbina. How do we know that? Because anyone below number 5 will get destroyed by Ether, not even Mavica. We do see minions of Ninth Harbinger in Sitlali's quest, but he's just known as a scammer. He's a con man. Until he scams Mavica out of Gnosis, I don't see him coming to Natlan. Or he's like some very powerful being hiding as a lowly Harbinger. Again, I don't see him coming. Maybe we will meet him in Snezna or something. That's why they showed his minions here. But like I said, anyone below 5 will get destroyed. Arlecchino have already done her job in Fontaine. She's also not going to be coming. Second Harbinger is in Nod-Krai. We're going to meet him in Nod-Krai. We will have our encounter with him in Nod-Krai. That only leaves us with Third Harbinger, Columbina. One of the top 3 on the levels of God. Plus Natlan also have its second weekly boss fight, Harbinger boss fight left here. Except for Monset, all the nations so far have had their Harbinger boss fight. Leeway Child, Inazuma Sinora, Sumeru Skara, and Fontaine Arlecchino. So I don't think Natlan gonna break the tradition. So there will be a second weekly boss fight, a Harbinger boss fight in Natlan. And I think it's gonna be Columbina, but I don't think she will win because first Harbinger lost. Why would she win? To be fair, Capitano didn't show his real form or something like that. So maybe Columbina have her real form. But Capitano also admitted that he has no way of defeating Mavica, and that's why he changed his plans because he can't defeat Mavica. So he has to, approach his plan in a different way. So I think either Columbina gonna lose her fight to take the Gnosis, or the fight will get interrupted. Either she will interrupt it herself, someone else will interrupt it, a greater threat, maybe something greater will appear, a bigger threat to take care of. So Columbina will be like, okay, let's stop our fight and let's take care of this thing. And Mavica will give her Gnosis as a trade for Columbina's help. Because so far all the Gnosis have been a trade except for Venti. Zhongli traded his Gnosis to get freedom. Yaimiko traded A's Gnosis to save Traveler's life. Nahida traded her Gnosis for knowledge, and Nivelle traded Focalor's Gnosis for Arlecchino's help. So far, except for Venti, all the Gnosis have been traded. So I think Mavica will gonna be traded too. Maybe, like I said, a bigger threat will appear. He will be like, ask for Columbina's help, and she will give up her Gnosis as a thank you. Now, speaking of greater threat, what could be greater threat after Abyss? Abyss is done. What's the greater threat we're talking about where Mavica will give up her Gnosis? If you go in Traveler's voice line, there's a voice line about Natlan Volcano where it says that a massive pyro dragon is in the deepest depth of Natlan inside the volcano. Massive pyro dragon could be Pyro Sovereign or it could be another dragon lord, something like that. We do not care. It's a big dragon who's strong enough to completely doom the Natlan. So this dragon is strong enough to destroy all of Natlan. Maybe this dragon will wake up Mavica, and Columbina will team up to take down the dragon, and Mavica will be like, yeah, you help me here, take the Gnosis. People were also talking about a clock. According to the clock, Columbina was the original Harbinger of Natlan. Capitano just jumped in. I guess developers just wanted to get the elephant out of the room. That's why they just quickly wrapped up Capitano's story, and now they can continue the story with the third Harbinger who was originally supposed to be here. So yeah, Columbina is coming. I don't know if they showed her in the preview of the characters who will be playable, but I can also see them not showing it because it's a fucking Harbinger. There is very big hypes here, so I don't see them previewing the character or spoiling it to other people. So there was this Harbinger, second Harbinger, who's coming to the Natlan. My theory is Columbina is coming. Either she will lose the fight, or the fight will get interrupted. But she's 100% fighting because we do need the second weekly Harbinger boss fight. So she's 100% fighting. Either she will lose it or it will get interrupted, and Mavica will trade her Gnosis as a thanks, or she can be scammed, but there's like 5% chance of that happening. That leaves us with Nod-Krai. Let's talk about Nod-Krai. A lot of people don't even know what this is. Nod-Krai is a place which is pretty close to Snezna. It's not actual Snezna, it's just an area before Snezna. So at first I was confused. I was like, they're making a Snezna area playable before Snezna itself comes out. No, it's just an area which is connected to Snezna. I think it's one of the dark seas. If you don't know what dark seas is basically an area where none of the gods have their influence. Like Enkanomia, for example, none of the gods have their influence in Enkanomia. So I think that's what Nod-Krai gonna be, an area with no god influence. My prediction was that Snezna Snezhnaya will be somewhere here because this area have a lot of Fatih. So I thought that like this is like a border between Fontaine and Snezhnaya. Maybe like Snezhnaya will be here and Nod-Krai will be like in between to connect the whole map, you know, from Natlan to Snezhnaya to Fontaine. Now let's talk about what's special about this place. Just like Mavika said, Nod-Krai have a power which is older than the elemental powers of Devyat. The 7 element itself are younger than the power which we found in Nod-Krai. You know how old that is? That is older than ancient dragons. Ancient dragons were using the 7 element powers tens of thousands of years ago. This power in Nod-Krai somehow, I don't even know what power it is. It could be abyss power, let's be real. It could be like abyss or light power or something else. But second harbinger is there. We know that for a fact. Mavika said herself that second harbinger is there. Nod-Krai has to be some serious place for Tasista to send her current strongest harbinger there. We can also, you know, find Dinesleaf there. You know, every nation we get a Dinesleaf Archon quest, you know. So I think Dinesleaf quest can also take place in Nod-Krai. This power is old enough than element itself, which means this power could be a strong counter for gods, aka we're gonna be finding Abyss Order. Speaking of Nod-Krai, I think Skirk gonna be there too, because we know Skirk gonna be playable sooner or later, and I feel like Nod-Krai, this place where there is some ancient power and everything, so I think Skirk gonna be there too. It makes sense for Skirk to be there. Skirk is, you know, very mysterious character. She works for one of the witches and all that, so I think she could be there. I don't see Skirk being a playable character of any of the nations, so I think Skirk gonna be the playable character during Nod-Krai, because we know Skirk is becoming playable as we saw in the preview. So I think we're gonna make Skirk in Nod-Krai. We will have our Archon quest with Skirk, and we will become on good terms with Skirk, and she will become playable. Pretty much everyone is coming there. I'm guessing Dansley will be there too. Fatis are already there. Abyss Order might be there too, and we are going there. It's gonna be a very big drama in Nod-Krai. Again, I have no idea what the ancient power of Nod-Krai could be. It could be very well be Abyss, because what's older than darkness? Like we learned in the Dark Souls, before fire became a thing, darkness was all it is. So it could be Abyss, or it could be something else. And after that we have Snezhnaya. So I don't think we will fight second harbinger there. I don't think. Maybe we'll have an encounter and he will just run away. I think second harbinger is reserved for Snezhnaya. I think that's where we will fight second harbinger. Maybe like, you know, Tasarista will have change of mind and second harbinger will lose his like, yo, you can't become good. Oh, and then he will start fighting, and then Tasarista and me, we will defeat second harbinger. Ancient Moon Remnants. As we saw, Mavika used her Archon powers to defeat Abyss in Act 4, and we saw a red hole in the sky. Mavika called it Ancient Moon Remnants. So red sky could be very well be real sky of Devyat. As we know, the sky, this all sky we see, this everything, this is all fake. So red sky could be very well be the real sky of Devyat, and the debris we saw in there, that could be Ancient Moon Remnants. Now which ancient moon? There's like a billion moon, there's like 3 moon sister, there's Crimson Moon. So I don't know which moon we are talking about, which moon's remnant is it. I think it's gonna be one of the ancient moon sister dead bodies, because I don't think Crimson Moon will be destroyed. There's been whole hype about Crimson Moon, blah blah blah, Crimson Moon dynasty, I'll let you know. Like there's been whole hype. I don't think Crimson Moon will be just, you know, destroyed in pieces. Remnants means something which is gone and only some parts of it is here. I don't think Crimson Moon is gone. It's gonna be one of the dead, you know, one of the 3 ancient moon sister, 2 of them died, and the moon we see in the sky, where is it? That one is just one of the dead bodies. So what happened to the other 2 moon sisters? In the trailer we see Lumine running around in Khandria and the sky is all red, so it could be the real sky of Devyat. And other than that, that was it. There was some plot points I want to talk about. If you find anything special or unique, please write down in the comments so that I can do some research on it and we can talk about it. Other than that, yeah, see ya.